For many people, sports are nothing more than just games. Entertainment, a way to pass time, wins, losses, rivalries, and then life moves on. To some people, it's simply people chasing a ball across a field or court. Something exciting in the moment but meaningless once it's over. But what if sports were more than that? What if these moments meant something deeper to millions of people around the world?
So often find a way, and it's been an awkward game for them. He's got Rodrigo out there with him, might not need him. Off the post, go in the end. Valverde, 2-0. Real Madrid strike again. The pace, incisiveness of Vinicius. Come back to Valverde. Valverde! Magnificent!
In a world divided by language, politics, culture, and borders, sports somehow create moments where people feel united. Maybe sports were never just games after all.
No estádio de Alvalade, ambiente fascinante.
Across countries, cultures, and languages, sports create something rare: connection. In moments of celebration, heartbreak, and pride, people who have never met stand together as one. What happens on the field often becomes bigger than the game itself. A single goal can make an entire country erupt with emotion. A single victory can inspire millions of people watching around the world. During international competitions, differences begin to fade. For a moment, politics, backgrounds, and personal struggles disappear. What remains is pride, passion, and hope. Sports create moments where people feel like they belong to something larger than themselves, and that feeling is powerful. When people support their country on the world stage, emotions become unforgettable. Entire nations stop to watch, streets fill with celebration, families gather together. Well, why do these moments affect people so deeply?
Oh my days, why is it moving?
What if I just put it on your cup? I
Here.
think it's on that.
Can you use this?
Oh, maybe. Oh, yeah, that's better. Okay, so who am I here with today? Who am I here with today?
Mr. Wiley.
Wiley, and do I have permission to have you for an interview?
Yes.
Yes? Okay, so my main question today is, how do you think people feel when supporting their countries on the big stage, such as the World Cup?
I think a lot of people, maybe even most people, identify with their national teams, and it brings out a sort of nationalism in them. It brings out a kind of pride in association with a certain place.
And how do you feel seeing your country playing the World Cup?
I'm probably not typical. The U.S. national team doesn't do a lot for me. For example, when I watch USA basketball play, I feel more pride. I'm not a big fan of American soccer. I'm not a big MLS fan, so the national team in soccer doesn't really inspire me that much.
And what does it mean to represent your country?
Well, I think for anybody to be chosen to be one of those few people who is wearing that uniform, I think it's powerful.
And can you describe the emotions that you feel during a match for the U.S.?
Well, for me, it would depend on who they are playing. So if I were watching the United States play one of the world powers, like, let's say, Italy or France, I would be rooting for them because they're an underdog, not necessarily because I associate so much with U.S. soccer.
Yeah. And do you feel connected to other Americans while watching them play?
Not really.
No? Do you think that America playing in the World Cup, like on a big stage like that, do you think it brings like multiple people, like multiple different types of Americans together? Like,
that's a good question. I think maybe one day it will. I don't know that. I mean, there are a lot of people who support the American team, but I think Mexican Americans are more rabidly pro-Mexican. They follow the Mexican team much more rabidly than Americans follow American soccer.
And have you heard about the situation from Drogba and the Ivory Coast?
No.
So basically, in 2005, Ivory Coast qualified for the World Cup, and during that time, they were having a civil war in that country. And basically, Drogba, a soccer player at the time, he made a video and recorded it and sent it to all of Ivory Coast, basically saying that he wishes to stop the war so they can all celebrate as a country together. So I want to ask you, how do you think sports can stop a country from going to war?
Sports are emotional, and they can bring people together, I think. And maybe one day, for example, if the right person came along to represent the United States, they might be able to appeal as much, for example, to other ethnic groups within the United States. I don't think it's that U.S. support for soccer is just white Americans, but I think it's majority. And I think that the various ethnicities in the United States tend to support their home countries more. But I don't know that it'll always be that way. And I think probably the longer you're here, the more likely one day you will root for the United States. Or somebody on the U.S. team will be really magnetic and draw people in. So I think that could happen also. Like with Drogba in Ivory Coast, if you get a big star who's really magnetic, they can bring people in.
All right. That's all the questions I have.
All right.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you.
We got timer.
Have you ever heard the story about
Sports have a unique ability to bring people together who may come from completely different backgrounds, different cultures, different languages, different beliefs. Yet somehow for a moment, those differences disappear. On the field, everyone speaks the same language: competition, teamwork, and passion. In the stands, strangers celebrate together like lifelong friends. Sports create connections that go beyond borders. They allow people to understand one another without ever speaking a word. Whether it's on a neighborhood court or the biggest stage in the world, sports continue to unite people in the few ways they can.
Look, can you say your name, please?
My name's Larry Strauss.
How was your day today?
It's good.
Can you tell a bit about yourself?
I grew up in New York City. I've been living in LA for about, since 1974. I'm a high school teacher, novelist, and columnist, and trying to get the most out of life.
How do you feel about sports?
Sports are great. I like to play sports. I like to watch some sports.
What would you say is your favorite sport?
Well, I play basketball a couple times a week, but I love I love other sports too. I mean, I think I have great admiration for soccer players and hockey players, tennis. I don't know that I have a favorite sport, and sometimes basketball bores me. It's doesn't always, but at its best though, it's a great. I think it's a great sport. It's certainly up there for me.
Would you say you have a favorite team or international team for any sport?
I kind of cheer for the home team for the most part. I mean, I know that the Dodgers are a lot of haters because they sort of bought the best team, but I cheer for the Dodgers, Lakers, Rams. But I also still have a soft spot in my heart for the New York Knicks, who were my team growing up.
Do you have a favorite moment from them?
Oh yeah, definitely. I was in the arena when Willis Reed hobbled out onto the court in 1970. Made the first two shots, went back to the bench, and Walt Frazier took the Knicks to their first championship.
How did that make you feel back then?
It was exciting. And it was exciting and very satisfying when your team wins. I mean, for most people, the athletes and fans, the season ends in disappointment. There's only one champion, and 20, 30, however many teams are not.
Do you think sports break barriers, with culture? Do you think they could achieve greater things than just being a game?
Well, I think history tells us it has. Jackie Robinson being an important example. Women's sports, showing women's ability to do things as well as men. I don't know how many people know this, but in 1972 there was a swimmer named Mark Spitz in the 1972 Olympics, broke a bunch of records, set world records. Those world records, they've been broken many times over by men. But his world records from 1972 have also been surpassed by the best female swimmers. So the best female swimmers of today could beat the best male swimmer in 1972. So the gap in athletic ability between men and women has closed. And I think that's certainly, an important cultural moment.
Have you ever heard the story about a soccer player named Didier Drogba?
No, I'm not familiar with that.
Well, just to enlighten you a bit, it's a Ivorian soccer player who was able to unite his country, who was going through a civil war through soccer.
Which country?
Ivory Coast.
Oh, the
Country who was going through a civil war through soccer.
which country?
Ivory Coast.
Oh, the Ivory Coast.
Do you think that's like an example of sports?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. What is another example? Yeah, there have been examples where a team kind of rallied, and I think it was like which Olympics was it? It was one of the Olympics, the basketball team from one of the, I think it was actually, you're gonna have to cut it after that. And I forget, it was one of the former Soviet republics. I forget which one, but I just remember like they had so little money they couldn't even afford uniforms, and the Grateful Dead bought them. They played in these tie-dye uniforms. I wish I could remember what country it was, but anyway, there are definitely those moments when I mean, certainly after 9/11, the New York Mets and the New York Yankees, I think, were playing in the World Series. I could be wrong about that, but I know one of the teams was in the World Series, and that was a very big moment when they, New York fans still came out to the ballpark. I mean, the whole city was traumatized after the 9/11 attacks, but, they kind of came together for this sports moment. 1989, the World Series was the Oakland A's against the San Francisco Giants. And San Francisco had a terrible earthquake. People were killed, and there was much destruction. And it actually happened right before, I think it was Game 2 or Game 3 at the what was it called? Well, the stadium, Oakland something stadium. And so the game had to be canceled. Pieces of the stadium came down, and, but again, like the community came together and they still had the World Series. Like they still, made it happen. So these are all important moments, certainly.
Thank you very much for your time, sir.
You're welcome.